Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where our topic today is on Larry Hoover and his commutation from federal prison. So we've talked a lot about the rights and wrongs of this occurring. Personally, given the nature of the pardoning in this country, why didn't you just go ahead and just pardon him like you're pardoning everybody else? You know, you've got those 1,600 plus folks who got pardoned from the federal prisons because of their involvement in January 6th. They got pardoned, and a lot of them got put back in jail. So why not just go ahead and why didn't he just go ahead and just pardon this man? Because he's a criminal like everybody else, you know, and just do it. It's kind of like he was still using some type of racism in his clemency decision.
So, I mean, really, I think him commuting sentence, it does allow him, once he wraps up his, whatever he needs to wrap up in Illinois, because he was eligible for parole in Illinois. I think the lawyers have to work that out. But again, pardon him erases it and allows him gun ownership and all kinds of stuff again. But I you know what, as far as Hoover, don't get me wrong, I believe in the power of redemption. You know what I mean? Wholeheartedly. And people can change. People can go to prison, they can change, they find God, they find Jesus, they find Muhammad, they find whatever it is that they're looking for in life. But at the same time, that doesn't erase what you've done. You're you know what I mean? And so you can embark on a path of redemption, you know, but that redemption does not bring back the lives of those people. We saw 3,000-4,000 deaths a year in Chicago. Chicago, murder capital of the world for decades. And a lot of that was a direct result of the gang violence, the gangster disciples. You know what I mean? An organization that this man founded and led. So it's just like I said, I do understand, and my prayer is that now that he has been given this second chance, that he does go out and send a message, undo what he's done. Hey, you know what? I founded this when I was younger. It was a mistake. You know what I mean? All of you who have listened to me and believed in me, I'm not a cultural icon. Everything I've done, I was wrong.
So could he be inviting death to himself if he does that?
It depends on how much it depends on how much he's respected. Because if you go out there and say, hey, look, guys, if you listen to me and you respect me, this is what I'm telling you.
But there's always somebody who wants to take over. And I think if he made a statement like that,
it depends.
Then I think they say it's time to take him out.
Well, again, it depends. And then at the same time, you know, you have to be willing to put your life on the line and tell the truth.
Well, let me ask this other question to both of you. Do we care?
I mean, I care, and the reason I care is because of who we celebrate as a people. And I think that's an important message. It's an important message to future generations. And I think if this man has the power and the ability to stop the violence in Chicago, if he's that much of an icon and that much of an authority, and he has the power, if you can save one person from getting killed, you know what I mean? Let alone 2, 3, 4, or 1,000, that means something. You know what I mean? Each and every black life you can save means something.
He can take part of that $10 million that he has and put it to a worthy cause.
Some kind of foundation.
Especially since a lot of Black-owned businesses and organizations are being defunded.
Yeah.
You know, he could be the example saying, look, I've got this much money and I can dedicate this much money to these various causes.
Victims of crime or dedicated to rehabilitating gang members.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds too much like rape.
You gotta wonder, if a person is kept in solitary confinement for 20 plus years, what do they think about?
I mean, I imagine he's done a lot of writing. I'm sure he's a bunch of books, bunch of writing, bunch of thought. I mean, there's the Bible, there's the Quran. I'm sure he's probably a religious expert. He can come out there and teach
Start a
every single religion. And so he should have after 50 years, that man should have about 5 PhDs. You know what I mean? And so it's just when you in solitary, you don't have contact with other, you know what I mean, prisoners. You know, a lot of that is about how strong your mind is. A lot of that is about turning inward. A lot of that is by, you know, you read and write, and you have the ability to contemplate what's important. You have the ability to think about life. And I imagine that he spent a large amount of time thinking about life, thinking about his life, thinking about the mistakes, thinking about society, thinking about what's going on out there in society, and his role, the role he played in that society. And so it matters because, like I say, if this man has the ability to go out there and stop the violence, tell young black kids the gang life is not the life. We need to stop killing each other. You understand? The stakes are bigger than this. The stakes are you can't go out there and kill each other over shit that you don't own. You don't own these projects. You don't own this block. You don't. Anytime the government wants to come in and move your ass out of that project, they're gonna come in and move your ass. You don't own it. So why are you killing over it? You know what I'm saying? So if he goes out there and ends that and uses this opportunity to save lives, you know what I mean, then perhaps there's some kind of real redemption that can come from that. You know what I mean? But again, it's just my thoughts and prayers and are on the families, all the families, and I can only imagine how they are feeling when they heard about this commutation. You know what I mean?
I'm with you 100%, man. Everything that you said, I agree with you 100%.
And also the January 6ers, I don't want to let them off the hook. They shouldn't have got out of they shouldn't have got pardons either. They, as a matter of fact, they should be in prison for treason against the United States of America. They should have got very, very long sentences. Treason is a crime punishable by death in this country, and so yeah, a lot of them should have gotten extremely long sentences.
But the imps got released, and some have been re-entered into the prison system again.
And the ones who were beating on film, spraying bear spray on police officers, beating police officers with flagpoles, police officers were killed. That is a conspiracy. A lot of those people who were involved in that and surrounding that when that officer was killed, who didn't intervene, because you do have a duty to intervene also. There are several laws that were broken, and all of those people should have been charged, and they should have been given maximum sentences. You know what I mean? And so that speaks volume to this country about sentencing and about white privilege, white supremacy. It speaks volume in this country about a whole lot of things.
So basically, to close it up, white supremacy once again won, even in pardoning and clemencies. I mean, and commutation of sentences. Well, we're about to wrap this up. So with Contemporary Black Voices, where we tell stories our way, and we hope that you come back and visit with us next week. But in the meantime, make sure you leave some comments on this topic. Thanks for listening to us.